Welcome to my channel. This is Bruce the Boss Brooks, and the Supreme Court Justice has just made a major ruling against the NCAA in what I believe to have been a long time coming as regards to unfair labor practices and or compensation of their student athletes. By the way, if you're new to the channel and or just a returning viewer and not yet subscribed, please go ahead and smash on that subscribe button. And don't forget to like this video if you agree with the court rulings as well as my assessment. Comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into it. So this story has been broken. I'm reading it from The Hill, where the Supreme Court makes a ruling against NCAA in dispute over student-athlete compensation. So the Supreme Court just ruled today unanimously, very impressive, not too often that you get that in today's political landscape and divide even in the Justice Department, in a dispute over the limits placed on educational-related compensation that student-athletes can receive. This decision was written by Justice Neil Gorsuch, which clears the way for colleges to provide more school-related perks to students like computers, musical equipment, I guess for those in like band, for instance, internships, and some legal experts say the case could be a prelude to challenges aimed more broadly at compensation in general. It was later backed up by Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who agreed with the judgment, and he goes on to state, "Nowhere else in America can a business get away with agreeing not to pay their workers a fair market rate on the theory that their product is defined by not paying their workers a fair market rate," end quote. He goes on to say, "And under ordinary principles of antitrust law, it is not evident why college sports should be any different. The NCAA is not above the law," end quote. Now this came after a March 2019 ruling siding with the college athletes. The U.S. District Judge Claudia Wilkins found that the NCAA's limit on computers, science equipment, musical instruments, and other tangible items related to the pursuit of academic studies were unlawful and blocked their application. A three-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit affirmed this decision last year, which prompted the NCAA to then appeal to the Supreme Court. Now, the NCAA tried to tell the justices that if this ruling below were allowed to stand, it would fundamentally transform the nature of college athletes by blurring the lines between the traditional line between college and professional athletes. Now, here was my thing. Now, this is just like they said, the prelude to potentially even paying college athletes. I firmly believe that what the NCAA has been able to get away with as it pertains to antitrust laws is borderline criminal, because like Brett Kavanaugh said, nowhere else would this be allowed, because we know for a fact that college sports, specifically the NCAA, is a billion-dollar industry. Someone's making massive amounts of money off of the backs of these student athletes who are busting their butt to put on a great show, performance, and potentially for many of them hoping to get signed to the pros, depending on your field. You have universities making money hand over fist. You have coaches like, what was his name again? He is the coach for Alabama. Has a salary of over $9 million. So everyone but the students are making money. In fact, I even remember a documentary several years ago on the Fab Five. If you're not familiar with them, they were a very talented group of basketball players in the NCAA, all from Detroit, Michigan, which included Jalen Rose and Chris Webber, amongst others. And they were talking about their situation. They didn't come from money. They came up poor, broke in the inner city of Detroit, but they excelled at their athletic profession. Now, I don't know how much money some of them, not all of them, but some of them were getting from the side from one of their sponsors, but just in general, taking a lot of their statements at face value. These guys were broke. They could barely put together money to even fill up gas in their car, and yet they're going around everywhere, taking pictures, autographs, seeing their jersey in stores, selling out all over the country. Meanwhile, seeing that someone else is making money off of their name, their number, and they can barely afford to get food at McDonald's. or White Castle, and like I said, barely afford to put in gas in their car, which prompted Chris Webber to be the first amongst them to say, you know, screw this, I want to get some of that money, I'm going to the professionals. Because as we all know, there are a number of those who are playing at the highest level in this industry. They're not there for the education, they're there as a transition into the major leagues. So for so many trying to make the excuse, well, they're getting free education. A lot of them know they're not. In fact, a lot of them are actually getting a free pass when it comes to their professor, from their professors on a lot of the academic studies, as if they're really even taking that many challenging courses to begin with. But I digress. It's criminal. Hopefully this does pave the way for student athletes to also get some form of compensation, either that or at the very least allow them to make money off of their own names. You don't even have to have the schools pay them. Allow them to do things off the side on their own, making money off of their name, their jersey, what it is they do, a side hustle. So that's the decision here. It does go on to read that this ruling does not open the door for the kind of free-for-all for the big colleges to start competing for athletes, i.e. bribing athletes to come play at their universities, such as offering offering SUVs, cars, things like that. I remember an episode of Smallville, season 4, Clark was looking at college prospects, and a fellow Smallvillian, I forget his name, but you know, he played, I believe, halfback and was just touching people and would make them drop and using his special powers. And he's just showing off to Clark all of these perks they were getting from former alum. So that's not in the play here. You can't bribe people to come. It's a matter of what are you allowing to provide for these students while they're there at their university, particularly as it pertains to academic pursuits there in the university. Let's see. So does not allow, that's an antitrust expert, Hubert Hoverkamp, a law professor at the University of Pennsylvania, but he did say that he expects more challenges to the NCAA in the coming years. We can anticipate there will be another case within the next year or two in which some group of plaintiffs or some big schools want to go further and just open the field to wide open bidding of the type we've got professional sports, where every school makes its own deals, end quote. So that's the ruling here. I think this is a landmark decision. I have to agree with Hovenkamp here regarding this opening the door for so many other areas. Would this blur the line between, again, professional and collegiate sports? The line's already been blurred. The only difference is in college, it's like free labor or slave labor in my mind, whereas professional sports, while yes, you can still say that the owners of the team, various teams, are, you know, some people like to equate them as slave owners. I don't, but they do get the ultimate control. But these athletes are being more than properly compensated for their play on the court. More than enough. Enough to live off for the rest of their life, no matter where you are on the roster. If you're making six figures, $100,000 a year at the very least, which a lot of them are, you're doing good. You just got to manage your money properly. But I want to know where your thoughts are on this landmark case. I can't wait to see other challenges more than just compensating and or providing academic perks such as, you know, again, computers, musical instruments, as it pertains to that particular college student's field of expertise and or what they're there for. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But again, if you agree with my assessment as well as the ruling, go ahead and like this video, share this video, and again, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This is Bruce the Boss Brooks, and I'm out. Peace.